Good evening. Welcome to the Vineland Board of Education, June 10th, 2021, 5 o'clock combined meeting, and also to Dr. Gruccio's official, sadly to say, last Board of Education meeting. Roll call, please. Ms. Leary.
Ms. Acosta?
Here.
Mrs. Kataspati?
Present.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Here.
Mr. Holmes?
Present.
Mr. Rivera?
Here.
Mr. Sobrana?
Present.
Mr. Silva?
Here.
Ms. Spinelli?
Here.
Mr. English?
Here. Thank you, Ms. Leary. In compliance with the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law, commonly referred to as the Sunshine Law, the Vineland Board of Education has caused notice and posting of this meeting to be sent to the following, announcing time and place thereof, agenda, etc. The Daily Journal, SNJ Today, the Press of Atlantic City, Nuestra Comunidad, Visto Bueno, the Clerk for the City of Vineland, and the Administrative Office Public Bulletin Board. At this time, I would ask that everyone please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Leary, do we have a resolution for executive session this evening?
Not at this time.
Thank you very much. Dr. Gruccio, at this time, I see we have a loaded list of special presentations, so please do the honor.
Okay, we have plenty of them this evening. First, I'd like to call forward Mrs. Kim Kell. She is a music teacher at Durand Elementary School, and she will be honoring our 5th grade students. Is she not here? Huh? Oh, I forgot. Okay. My fault. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Gruccio and the board, for giving us the time to recognize the Durand Performing Arts for their hard work and dedication on their performance of The Lion King, The Pandemic Way. Just a little background on how we got to this point. For the last 33 years, I have produced the Durand musical each spring. Due to the pandemic last year, the show was canceled. When coming into this year, the prospect of doing the show was still not looking good. I was not and could not let this happen to my students. I had a vision and presented it to my wonderful principal, Mr. Greco, and awesome assistant principal, Mrs. Tomlin. They are truly the best. With that, they encouraged me to pursue my vision, maybe with some hesitation. During these times, the arts are an essential part of learning for all children. This pandemic has isolated students and they have withdrawn from social interaction. I know I was not able to have students perform on a stage or have many students gather together, so I recreated the story. I wrote the script in a narrative format, having students telling the story and some performing their character songs. I held Google Meet rehearsals with groups and individual students. Students involved in the show were both hybrid and virtual, and they consisted of all 5th graders. The parents of these students played a big role and were very supportive. This could not have been done without their help and encouragement, so I thank them from the bottom of my heart. Using iMovie, I was able to bring my vision to life, schedule individual students To video their parts was a challenge, but with the cooperation of all the fifth grade teachers and parents, everything fell into place. The story of the Lion King shares a beautiful message, and perhaps now more than ever, the message truly resonates. We need to remember who we are, who have gone before us, and who have impacted our lives. And always remember that we are all connected in the great circle of life. This cast has brought forth the empowerment of love, support, hard work, and dedication to the production of The Lion King: The Pandemic Way. I hope you all take a moment to take time to watch the performance. The YouTube link is shared on the Durand School website, and Gia Masur has kindly shared the link with the district, and I thank Gia for all she has done for our school in the past years for me. She is truly an asset to the school system and community. As always, remember that all things are possible, even in a pandemic. At this time, I would like to present to you the cast of The Lion King: The Pandemic Way with certificates of achievement. When I call your name, please come up. We have our two narrators, Jimmy Figueroa and Reagan Vas Osten Ferrari. Our Rafiqis that are not, Genesis Gonzalez and Tariq Williams, they are not here tonight. And we have Juliana Auger. Mufasa was played by Demont Parker. Shenzi the hyena was played by Brinasia Days. Scar was played by David Valentine. I don't think he's here tonight. Our dynamic duo, Pumbaa, was Alex Paz Aquino, and Timon was played by Bella Eubanks. An awesome team. And last but not least, our Simba was played by Bryson Mendebiles Evans.
Thank you, Mrs. Kell, and congratulations to our students from Durand. Nice job. I'd also like to say congratulations. Mrs. Kell is retiring this year, so I wish you a very healthy and happy retirement. Thank you for all you do. If you don't mind, I'd just like to step out of order for a minute because Mr. Fry has to speak at a retirement dinner. So I'm going to ask him if he would come up and do his presentation next, and then we'll get back to the regular agenda.
Ready? Thank you, Dr. Gruccio. Throughout the process of developing the summer program, it has been a pleasure to work with the principals, teachers, supervisors, and support staff to develop opportunities for our students. I cannot say enough to thank the entire school community for coming together under a united goal to support our students. The presentation is a brief overview of where we are and where we want to go over the next 2 years. The mission. The district's 2-year COVID response to learning is intended to address the potential learning loss created by the COVID-19 pandemic and the disruptions to our educational model. The vision of the plan is to provide intensive foundational reading instruction for elementary students and extend opportunities for all students to apply language arts and mathematics skills across the curriculum. The Academy is intended to bolster students' proficiencies with a focus on language arts and mathematics in a meaningful way that will have a positive impact on our community. Although the focus of this presentation is for this summer, the district is planning for sustained support over the next 2 years and beyond. The presentation begins with a pre-grant modifications to the curriculum and describes our plans for this summer, the 2022 school year, summer 2022, and the 2023 school year. There will be time at the end of the presentation for any questions. Pre-grant actions. This school year began with significant modifications to the curriculum in response to the interruptions caused by last spring. September began with a 6-week remediation period designed to assess and identify prerequisite skills. Teachers were encouraged to incorporate team-building activities to address social emotional learning, and focused on critical power standards. The goal was to emphasize differentiated activities to meet the needs of all students and use formative assessments to determine how students were progressing through the curriculum. Okay, Summer 1. This year's Summer Academy will be in person for the majority of our students, with online opportunities for specific populations over a 19-day period. The plan is to focus on struggling learners and use language arts and mathematics as the base of a 90-minute instructional model. The teachers and supervisors have worked together to develop a base curriculum designed to address targeted major content standards that have been identified through our district benchmark assessments. The program has a high degree of teacher flexibility in the development of targeted activities as teachers begin to learn more about their students. There are multiple programs running at the same time in order to allow all students to participate. For students participating online, there are intensive instructional supports built into the program. Even though we are offering many opportunities in person, we will continue to support those who decide to take advantage of the traditional Summer EduSeer Credit Recovery Program. Currently, we have approximately 20% of our student population enrolled in our summer program. Moving forward, 2-year plan. Moving forward, the focus will be on developing critical prerequisite skills for each subject area and grade level. Our goal is to leverage our current data systems in combination with an increased emphasis on formative assessments to drive our approach to student learning. The district will emphasize the use of our MTSS plan and to differentiate based on student needs. We will also increase teacher and student access to specialized supports, including reading and mathematics specialists in every building. The district will also continue with the extended day opportunities for all students. Moving forward, the district will continue to support the use of learning management system and student learning expectations. Clearly defined curriculum frameworks and weekly schedules of assignments are areas that we hope to continue to develop and refine as we move through year one. As always, the district supports the concept of reteaching, relearning, reassessing to enhance student learning. The district will continue professional development in the use of technology and virtual instruction, as well as continue to build our professional learning library. Ongoing use of the professional learning communities will continue in support of the implementation of our curriculum, instructional practices, learning activities, and formative assessments. As we move into year one, the implementation of a full sustainable one-to-one initiative is crucial to our future success and our ability to pivot based on student needs. Summer 2 and year 2. The key to success for the second round of support structures will be our ability to evaluate and learn from our experiences during summer 1 and year 1 to make the necessary adjustments for our students. Funding. We are investing approximately $2.4 million this summer, including teachers, guidance, support, staff, supplies, programmatic resources, transportation, technology, and food. The funding provided by the state and federal government has allowed us an unprecedented opportunity. We were able to begin the planning process with the knowledge that finances will not be a barrier to our success. We look forward to working together and overcoming the challenges ahead. Thank you. Any questions about what's coming up, where we are now? Mr. English.
My question concerning the 20% for year summer 1.
Yes.
How did we establish who that 20% was and what made it 20%, not 30 or 40?
So the focus was on struggling learners, right? The ones who participated, some struggled a little bit, those that were there but just struggled, had opportunities but did not fulfill those opportunities. The 20% is only the beginning, I think. We continue to build. Our plan was for 2 classrooms per grade level in every school. And that was the goal. And we're rapidly approaching that goal, but we are not there yet. Some schools had to open a third class in a grade level. Others are down to 1 class in a grade level. They're continuing to reach out to the parents and the students. But right now, we're looking at about 2,000 students enrolled in our summer program.
Is it optional or is it mandatory? If 3 students say yes, the next 3 say no, we slide it 3 more? How does that work?
Yes. So it's definitely optional. Right? We're not forcing anyone to grabbing them by the neck and dragging them into school, that's for sure. There are some students who are in a situation where if they do not do this, they must participate in the traditional EduSeer credit recovery, and they must do these components to move on to the next grade level. But yes, they have kind of a sliding scale of students, so they maximize the production.
Couple of other questions. So I see we're providing transportation.
Yes.
So if indeed a student, say you anticipate 12 students in each class, I don't know the number bar, but what if a class full of sudden ends up with 5 kids? Well, you can put 7 more in there, but transportation could be an issue. This is how we're doing it as of June 20th, or will we be able to filter some kids in if people are dropping out and not showing up?
I think that relates back to, that's a great question, it relates back to the original idea. When we first looked at this program, it was interesting listening to principals, supervisors, teachers. Well, can we do this? Can we do that? And our overriding mission was, we will not let finances stand in our way of making this every opportunity for every student. And I think that's what we did. I mean, every time a principal came with an idea, a supervisor had an idea to do something, add something, move something around, we did those things and continue to do those pieces now. So I think that kind of answered your question, but yeah, we are not letting finances stand in our way. We were provided a bulk sum of money with the intent and the purpose of closing this gap. We all know what happened last March and through this year, and we did make major modifications trying to catch up, but we all know. And we also know that 19 days this summer is not going to do it, right? So it has to be a long-term, sustained effort. We also know that we have to impact every student population out there as well, from special ed to bilingual to regular ed. Every population must be impacted, and that's what the plan includes.
And then the stigma of summer school when you and I went to school was...
I never went to summer school.
But this is a program that we're offering. It's not like the traditional summer
Absolutely. And what a great question also. And again, I tried to make this presentation as concise as possible because I wanted to get the overview out there. But these questions are excellent. And the people who are participating in the program will not experience a traditional kind of summer school packet kind of thing that you and I are familiar with. The program has been designed at the base level with an instructional model, then given over to the principals and to the teachers with the flexibility to make it the best they possibly can. So teachers are taking these items that we've developed and activities, they're modifying, they're creating, they're merging together. Teachers have worked together, science teachers and math teachers, and it continues to develop. And that's kind of what the success for our future is going to be. What lessons we learn from this summer and moving into next year with our math and reading specialists, what we learn from that is going to guide us through the next 2 years and beyond. Yeah, we'll post this on our website, absolutely. Any questions that any parents have, if you're hearing this for the first time, which I don't think you are, you can contact myself, my office, or you can contact any principal. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fry.
I did. Thank you very much, thank you.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, Mr. Greco, I apologize. I'm heading off, though. Oh, Mrs. Frederico, I apologize, Mrs. Frederico. Thank you again, board. Thank you.
Mr. Greco, we invite you back up. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity. On behalf of the staff and students at Durand School, it is our pleasure to recognize a true Durand Dolphin living legend, Linda Palladino. That's the whole speech, Linda. Linda is retiring. Now, first of all, Dr. Rossi called me Linda, and he asked if this was true. Linda is retiring after 50 years of service with our school district, 47 at Durand Elementary School. Linda has been a classroom teacher and a basic skills teacher and has taught hundreds, if not thousands, of students how to read. I, for one, cannot think of a better accomplishment in life to reflect back on than giving a child, the gift of reading. Linda Palladino. Linda, thank you so much for everything you have done for our building, and congratulations on this next stage of your life. I'm only 38. The building opened and Linda was there. Now, Linda, you're not getting away without a story. So there's many stories to tell about Linda Palladino, and I'm toning this one down, saving some of the better ones for the retirement party. Last year, we had a former student come, Bobby. Bobby is 22 years old, I believe, when he visited school, and we hadn't seen him in a while, and we loved Bobby. So Bobby walked in, and we said, Bobby, what are you doing here? And he said, I'm here to see Mrs. Palladino. I said, really, Bobby, Mrs. Palladino? Oh, she's tough, Mr. Greco, but she taught me how to read. He said, my mom even made me go to the school library with that lady, Mr. Greco, and I couldn't read, and now I can read. I said, oh, you want to go down there and thank Mrs. Palladino for teaching you how to read? He said, no, my mom sent me. My second grade brother can't read, and she said, go get Palladino. That's a living legend.
Thank you so much for this recognition. When I was doing my student teaching back in the days of the dinosaurs, I was actually offered a job in Vineland in my senior year of college, and I've been here since then. It's been a pleasure and it's been an honor, and I certainly have witnessed many changes throughout Vineland. Just the other day, someone mentioned ITA, and if you don't know what ITA is, look it up. It's a humorous story. But we were just ending that when I started teaching. And I've seen many changes, and I can say one thing about Vineland. Vineland always looked for a way to help students learn. And some of those ways were very, very new and original at the time. We take so much for granted, whole language and holistic learning, but Vineland got on board early with that, and that was a big jump from basal readers, and no one was really sure that that was going to work. And they used to, I'm dating myself, but the proof is in the pudding. And we have excellent, excellent reputation. I know personally, I meet my students who, have become every profession in the world: doctors, lawyers, dentists, electricians, plumbers, business people, bankers, and even greater than that, teachers. That's always a big kick for me. And people who serve the community, clergymen and rabbis and social workers and advocates and social advocates, people in the military who have distinguished themselves. Benchmarks are great, but that's our benchmark. That is our benchmark, our students. And my hope is that Vineland continues to always reach for the stars, because if you do that, you have a really good chance of grabbing hold of one. And I should have retired about 5 years ago when Mr. Greco told me that I act more like his mother telling him what to do than a teacher on the staff. But I didn't let that bother me, and I just kept going. Thank you so very much.
Very nice. Congratulations. I wish you a healthy and happy retirement. Next, I'd like to ask Mrs. Terry Godlewski to come forward, and she has someone she's going to recognize tonight.
Good evening, Dr. Gruccio and board members. Each year, the New Jersey School Boards Association conducts the Innovations in Special Education Awards program to recognize imaginative and effective programs for special needs students in public and private schools throughout the state of New Jersey. Districts must submit a detailed application summarizing the program, how it relates to students and curriculum, how the program is financed, as well as the references, pictures, and outcome data. Award winners are recognized at a state luncheon, which coincides with New Jersey Special Education Week. Due to COVID, a luncheon was not held this year, but our district and the Beautifying Batstow project was recognized as a 2021 innovative program out of 41 submitted entries. Beautifying Batstow is a project that students in our Transitional Life Skills program experienced during their horticultural rotation. Just a little history about the project. David Orlandini, who is a teacher, special education teacher at Vineland High School, was at Batstow with one of his U.S. history classes. The tour included the history and the significance of Batstow, as well as the relevance of the grounds. Dave's mind immediately went to our life skills program to see how his horticultural rotation and students could partner with Batstow. From that trip, a partnership that has spanned many years has evolved, which is truly a classroom community connection. Our students learn about the history of Batstow and the plants, herbs, and foliage that are indigenous to the area and to the time period. These plants are often grown in our Vineland High School greenhouse, and during community-based instruction are transplanted to Batstow. Students assist in landscaping and beautifying the area, learning important life and vocational skills. Our kids and our programs have made a huge impact on the park staff at Batstow. It's not just a one-sided partnership. They have nominated this program for recognition by to the Burlington County Historical and Cultural Society, and they also worked with Mr. Orlandini and former building administrators to secure the model classroom grant for the greenhouse that was awarded to us from Ocean First Bank. As an aside, Mr. Orlandini was notified today that this program has been accepted into a partnership with the Nature's Conservancy. So next year, our students will not only have community-based instruction opportunities at Batstow, but they will also be involved in preserving the Morris River Bluffs Preserve. Though community-based instruction has been minimized due to the pandemic, we are excited about getting back into the swing of things next year. And I invite all of you to come out and take a tour of our transition program, which creates a real-world vocational learning experience for our 18 to 21-year-olds. Unfortunately, Mr. Orlandini had a prior commitment this evening, but I have Mr. Nanamacher, who is our special education secondary supervisor in the audience, to come up and accept this plaque that was given to us by New Jersey School Boards Association. I thank you for your time.
Thank you
Thank
very
you, and I hope to
much.
see everyone next year.
Thank you. Okay, next I'd like to call forward Mrs. Federico, and she is our principal at Petway Elementary School, and she also has an award to present this evening.
Good evening, Dr. Gruccio, members of the board, and community members. I would like to congratulate Mrs. Jeannie Andrews for being nominated as a quarterfinalist for the 2022 Music Educator Award presented by the Recording Academy and the Grammy Foundation. The Music Educator Award was established to recognize current educators, kindergarten through college, who have made a significant and lasting contribution to the field of music education and who demonstrated a commitment to the broader cause of maintaining music education in the schools. Mrs. Andrews has been teaching at Petway for 8 years. Her classes are interactive and fun. The students are up and moving, they're singing, they're playing instruments, and they are even composing. I am always amazed at the students' depth of music concepts and knowledge. Mrs. Andrews also contributes to the district music program by co-writing the music curriculum. Mrs. Andrews secured over $6,700 worth of funds through Donor's Choice. With those funds, she purchased instruments and other materials for our students to enhance their music education. She truly enriches the lives of all of our students, and we are so proud of her with this award. Congratulations, Mrs. Andrews. Thank you.
Congratulations, and thank you so much. In our last presentation, I believe Megan Greenfield is here with us this evening, and she has the VEA Staff Spotlight.
Good evening, Dr. Gruccio on the board. We're going to feature 2 more staff spotlights tonight, and that'll be it until next year, so hopefully we'll have this opportunity to do this again. For our first spotlight tonight, we will be recognizing one of our amazing school secretaries. And I would like to mention that oftentimes secretaries are overlooked, but their contributions to our staff and students are so essential for the overall success of our schools and district, and they absolutely must be recognized and acknowledged more often for the work that they do day in and day out. The secretary we are spotlighting tonight is Miss Deborah Bishop for her dedication to Vineland High School. As a secretary in the finance office, Deborah's primary job was to administer all of the Vineland High School student activity funds for clubs and activities. However, in the last several years, the entire Vineland High School South clerical staff has either retired, transferred, or resigned, and as the only remaining secretary, Deborah has had to mentor and teach her new colleagues the operating procedures necessary to run the school. She has served in every clerical position at the campus at one point or another, often several positions within a single day. Without her holding down the fort, the school wouldn't have made it through these last 2 years. Deborah, despite typically doing 2 or 3 things at once, will always drop what she is doing to help students, staff, and administrators alike, always maintaining a positive and polite attitude. She has made working at Vineland High School South an easier experience for the entire staff. Tonight, we thank you, Deborah Bishop, for your enthusiasm and dedication, and know that you have made a positive impact on the students and staff here in Vineland. Our next staff spotlight is Sandy Carberry, who is here with us today. Sandy Carberry, Wallace's school's art teacher, as well as the students and staff of Wallace School, participated in a unique event titled Cruise, an artistic drive-through experience, hosted at the Noyes Arts Garage of Stockton University in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Wallace was one of 19 schools in New Jersey participating in this outdoor event of sorts. Audience members were able to view the show through the comfort of their vehicles as they drove through different levels of the Arts Garage, tuning into an FM channel on their radios to listen to the music and sound effects of each art installation or performance they came across. As one who actually saw the event in person, I was thrilled and proud to see Sandy Carberry's exhibit as the start to this drive-through experience. Sandy's vision for this project came about from a very sad series of unfortunate events that rocked our Wallace School students and staff. The passing of our own beloved security guard, Sherry Cacaro, and our head maintenance man's stepson, Aiden Rodriguez. This project, titled Kaleidoscope of the Soul, a collaborative work of art created by staff and students in memory of those we have lost, included hundreds of shiny origami paper butterflies that were created over several weeks by students and staff of Wallace School, and also held a special meaning for each of them, the memory of loved ones they have lost. These small and large butterflies were draped over tents with a large sign, front and center, stating the title of the exhibit, A Kaleidoscope of the Soul, and included the largest of the origami butterflies with both Sherry's and Aiden's name on them. It was quite a sight to see. Sandy, thank you for all the time and effort you put into this project, and I mean lots of time spent spraying the butterflies, traveling back and forth to the exhibit probably over a dozen times. It not only means a lot, or meant a lot, to our students and staff of Wallace, but also to the families and friends of those individuals memorialized on those butterflies. This was truly a memorable project for all involved. Job well done. Thank you.
Hey, Megan, 1 second. I didn't get Sandy's last name. I'm sorry. Carbon? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you, Megan, and congratulations to both people who were recognized this evening.
Does that wrap it up, Dr. Gruccio?
That's it.
Okay, at this time, do I have any questions or comments on our HIB report? Seeing none. Item number 6, Approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion for the approval of minutes? April 14, 2021 executive session, April 15, 2021 executive session, April 15, 2021 special meeting, April 28, 2021 public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please. Ms. Leary.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Mrs. Cataspati?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sobrana?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. English?
Yes to April 14, 2021, yes to April 15, 2021 executive session, abstain from April 15, 2021 special meeting, and yes to April 28, 2021 public hearing.
Thank you. Cataspati made the motion and Kim second.
Do we have any committee reports this evening?
I have one.
You have one? Ms. Spinelli.
Wait, does anyone have one before me?
Does anyone have any before? No?
Find a minute.
That's okay. Maybe I'll sing a song for Dr. Gruccio. I can't carry a tune in a bucket. We need the Hakuna Matatas back.
Okay, the Policy and Personnel Committee met, oh wait, this is May 26th. We met before that? No, this is correct. May 26th at 4:30. In attendance was Mr. Fiocchi, Dr. Gruccio, Mr. Lano, Dr. Rossi, Dr. Sneathen, and myself, and we discussed the central administration and non-union salary increases, and the committee was informed about employee accommodation policies for postnatal. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Spinelli. I believe that is it for this evening on item number 7. Number 8, at this time, do we have any public reports by our board solicitor, Mr. DeSanto?
Yes, I'd like to briefly report on the status of the Oak and Main project. If the board recalls, you approved the conveyance to the Vineland Community Foundation, subject to numerous conditions, the violation of which would trigger reverting the property back to the board. On Monday, I received the deed back from the Vineland Community Foundation with a sign-off that all the terms and conditions have been agreed upon by their board. Mr. English signed the deed tonight, and it will be sent to the county tomorrow for recording. One of the provisions is that they must complete the construction of the renovations and be ready for occupancy and operation within 180 days of the date of the deed. So the clock starts tomorrow. The 180 days begin tomorrow. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. DeSanto. At this time, I don't see anybody left out there. Do we have any public comment on agenda items or any other matter? Please limit your... Why even say... Okay, at this time, Dr. Gruccio, will you entertain us in the motions and resolutions this evening?
Sure. I would like to recommend discussion of personnel items 1.1 through 1.3, retirements, resignations, terminations, leaves of absence, employment, transfers, student substitutes, extracurricular activities, extracurricular summer, and volunteers.
Any questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the following contracts. The Executive County Superintendent's approval was obtained for these contracts for a term of 1 year commencing July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. These include Mr. Nathan Fry, Dr. Danielle Sneathen, Ms. Dawn Leary, Mr. Scott Mostrell, Dr. Joseph Rossi, and Mrs. Teresa Godlewski.
Questions or comments? Just a quick comment. I want to take a moment to thank Dr. Gruccio for really educating me on the inequity there, and it's definitely appreciated. The board had thorough discussion on this through committee process, and I think it was a job well done by you on this, Dr. Gruccio. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to recommend discussion regarding the exempted BAE Staff Memorandum of Agreement for July 1, 2021 through June 30th, 2024, with these noteworthy conditions for the 10 impacted employees. July 1st, there will be $2,000 added to the base salary. January 1st, $1,500 to the base salary. July 1st, 3% added to the base salary. And July 1st of 23, 3% added to the base salary. The BAE members, Kara Irvine and Jamie Greenwood, shall receive $6,000 increases respectively beginning July 1st, and the members pursuing continuing education shall receive up to $2,000 per year for such purpose.
Any questions or comments? Just another quick comment, thanking Dr. Gruccio and Dr. Rossi for bringing this to our attention as well. Thank you.
I would like to recommend approval of personnel items 1.1 through 1.3.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please. Ms. Leary.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Mrs. Cataspati?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. English?
Yes.
Okay, I would like to recommend discussion regarding field trips and district travel.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding waiving the time requirements for review according to Policy 0131, Bylaws and Policies, and adopt the following policies/regulations and bylaws. Policy 3421, Postnatal Accommodations for Teaching Staff Members, and Policy 4421, Postnatal Accommodations for Support Staff Members.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the purchasing manual for the year 21-22.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the principal rubric evaluation template, which is on file with the board secretary.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the 2021 annual school nursing service plan.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend approval of items 2.1 through 2.5.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please. Ms. Leary.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Mrs. Cataspati?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana? Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. English?
Yes.
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the use of Vineland High School South Complex by the City of Vineland for fireworks, which will take place on Sunday, July 4th. Rain date will be Monday, July 5th, 2021.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding a request for a waiver of the toilet room facilities for the 21-22 school year for the following: Golan Learning Center, Sabatier School, and the Vineland YMCA. This request is required to continue state approval of the use of these classrooms.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend approval of items 3.1 through 3.2.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please. Ms. Leary.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Mrs. Cataspati?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana? Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. English?
Yes.
I would like to recommend discussion of budgetary transfers for the general, school-based, and ECBA budgets for April 2021.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the board secretary and treasurer reports for April of 2021.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the placement of special education students.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion to accept the following funding. The State of New Jersey Department of Children and Families would be a family-friendly grant center at Sabatier School, and the New Jersey School Insurance Group 2021 Safety Grant.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding a requisition to the City of Vineland for the 21-22 local school taxes according to the schedule provided and on file with the Board Secretary. This meets state audit requirements for requisition of local district taxes for school purposes.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the tuition rates for the 21-22 school year.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the submission of a security grant that directly supports ELISA's law compliance for Vineland Public Schools and includes security upgrades in the amount of $527,555 for the project time period of July 1, 2020 to June 30th, 2021.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the acceptance of the 21st Century Grant with the Boys and Girls Club of Cumberland County. This would be a partnership with the Vineland Public Schools, which will include Petway and Winslow Elementary Schools and Pilla and Memorial Middle Schools for a 5-year period of time, September 2022 through June 30th, 2027.
Questions or comments?
We'd like to recommend discussion regarding the New Jersey Child Assault Prevention application, which is on file with the Board Secretary.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the submission of the fiscal year 21 Coronavirus Response and Supplemental Appropriations Act application. This is submitted to the New Jersey Department of Ed.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the healthcare staffing agreement between the City of Vineland Board of Ed and Epic Aviana Health Services Incorporated to provide licensed practical nurses at $50 per hour and registered nurses at $60 per hour, and other health services as listed in the Addendum A. Also as a needed basis for special education students in a form acceptable by the board solicitor and the superintendent for July 1, 2021 through June 30th, 2022.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the shared services agreement with the City of Vineland to assist in providing free influenza vaccines to eligible preschool students enrolled in our Vineland Public Schools preschool program.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion to permit the school business administrator to bind the insurance coverages by June 30th of 2021, pending the receipt of an acceptable renewal of auto and property casualty insurance with NJSIG through Biondi Insurance, which is effective July 1, 2021 through June 30th, 2022.
Questions or comments?
We'd like to recommend discussion regarding the partnership agreement between Big Brothers Big Sisters of Cumberland County and Salem County with the City of Vineland Board of Education for the school-based and high school-based mentoring programs in the amount of $12,000.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the 21-22 itinerant shared service agreement between Salem County Special Ed and the Vineland Public School District in a form acceptable to the board solicitor and superintendent.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the 21-22 agreement of participation in cooperative transportation with the Gloucester County Special Services School District for homeless, non-public, special education, and vocational transportation needs for a cost of 4% above the actual route cost if their services are needed for the non-public students, and 7% above the actual route cost if their services are needed for all other students.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding a resolution recognizing the collective bargaining units.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion allowing private schools to provide free nutritional breakfast and lunch for students with disabilities.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion of a resolution appointing the legal depositories for the school district funds.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion of a resolution appointing our official newspapers.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the services for school bus advertising and gym wall ads between JMI Enterprises and Vineland Board of Education.
Just a quick question, Dr. Gruccio. It's been a while since I've asked. How are we doing with our bus ads?
I honestly don't know if I see them,
Yeah.
on there, but I don't know if they're new. I don't know how current they are.
Do we continue to renew? Is that how it works? Yeah? Are we showing interest still? Down? Okay. Gotcha.
We do continue to advertise on the buses, right? Asking for people who want to place it. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the financial management software agreement with Systems 3000 for July 1, 2021 through June 30th, 2022.
Questions or comments on System 3000?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the staffing professional service contract between Right Choice for Home Health Care and the City of Vineland Board of Education to provide licensed practical nurses at $39 per hour, registered nurses at $49 per hour on an as-needed basis for special education students.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the following Year 2 contract renewals for Food Service Management Company for the term July 1, 2021 to June 30th, 2022, with the option to renew 3 one-year terms for a total of 5 years. This is with Sodexo.
Questions or comments? Just a quick question. I would just like to thank Sodexo and give a shout out to Pravesh Patel because he really runs that like it's his own business. And
It's amazing.
we are fortunate to have someone like that overseeing that for our district. So a definite shout out to Sodexo, but definitely Mr. Patel.
Thank you. I would like to recommend discussion regarding awarding the following contract for DePalito's toilet rooms, which is contingent upon review of the bid documents by the board solicitor.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the awarding of the following contract for Winslow roof replacement, which is contingent upon review of the bid documents by the board solicitor.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the awarding of the following contract for VHS South Agricultural Room, which is contingent upon review of the bid documents with the board solicitor.
Questions or comments? Just a quick comment. I'm very excited to see this
I am too. I'm
coming to
glad to see it's
fruition.
finally moving.
So we will definitely have you back
Okay.
for that celebration.
They're going to begin working on the classroom itself, so we'll have the ag room, and then hopefully our greenhouse will be coming soon after. I would like to recommend discussion regarding the 21-22 agreement between the City of Vineland Board of Ed, Transportation, and Cumberland County Board of Vocational Ed for special education and private school transportation and routing management services for a cost of $102,408.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the 21 through 24 agreement of interlocal participation in the joint transportation agreement with Cumberland County Regional Cooperative in a form that is acceptable by the board solicitor and superintendent for special education, private, vocational, technical, or school students' transportation needs, an amount equal to 4% for in-district routes and 8% for homeless routes.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend discussion regarding the following: Cumberland County Regional Cooperative Transportation Initiatives, bids for extended school year, quoted contracts, jointure, and regular school year renewals.
Questions or comments?
I would like to recommend approval of items 4.1 through 4.30.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please, Ms. Leary. Oh, yes. Mr. Sobrano.
I'm sorry, I had to step away for a minute. I just had a question about what the designation of an official newspaper actually means.
The designation of an official newspaper?
They're the newspapers that we approve as a district to, cover our meetings, or we put ads in, things like that. You usually approve certain papers that we do business with within the community.
Excuse me, John? Yes, we are required by code to designate certain newspapers that are published within our area for official notices of the district, and we also use them for other things, but we're required to designate, the board is, of who's going to publish public notices that we request.
It's probably an outdated rule, given the nature of publishing now, where almost everything is virtual.
Yes, it's still a requirement to my knowledge.
Whenever we give notice of a board meeting, 48-hour notice, they're papers that it's.
For example, if we pay for printed advertisements in a newspaper, do we have any idea where that actually goes? How many people actually subscribe to the newspaper and get a printed copy of it?
Well, the whole idea behind the code provision is to reach as many of our constituency as possible. So the Daily Journal is designated. Is there a second paper? I don't recall.
There's a few of them.
Yeah, okay, right. All of the ones that are in town that can maximize the exposure. And I realize that in today's world, it's not as needed as before, but...
We're fortunate that we still have Deb Marco covering Vineland Public Schools and the Vineland Board of Education, but other than that, the Daily Journal doesn't exist as an entity in this community anymore. They closed down the building, there's no one working there, and it's all done elsewhere. So just something to think about in the future. We probably can reach more people with our public meeting notices via social media and our TV stations and other ways than that, but I understand it's a code provision, so infamous is what it is.
Yes.
It's not the 48-hour notices, it's the official notices, like for the public hearing and all that. So it isn't as much as you think, because the 48-hour notice is just an email.
I think we'll put that on our Finance Committee agenda for a quick discussion to see where them funds go accordingly. Thank you.
I mean, advertising-wise, I'm sure it's not a significant amount of money. It's just the principle of the thing.
No, I understand. I see where you were going. I understand. Thank you. Just a quick question there. I believe we did a motion, correct? And we got a second?
Yes.
And I gave the classic. Ms. Leary?
Okay. Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Mrs. Cataspati?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes on all, abstain on 4.19.
4.19? Thank you. Mr. Holmes?
Yes to all, abstain on 4.8 and 4.14.
Thank you. Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sobrano?
Yes?
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. English?
Yes.
Thank you.
I can't think of any way of sending you out other than 30 items under finance and only 2 sips of water. All righty. Thank you for that, Dr. Gruccio. I will miss hearing that voice. Okay, now we have a couple items under 10B, proposed items for review or discussion or adoption by board members. At this time, discussion and approval of a motion authorizing payment of 10 vacation days to Dr. Mary L. Gruccio in accordance with NJSA 18A:30-9 for unused vacation days to a state of emergency declared by the governor. We had thorough discussion on this through a couple committees, and we didn't see any issues with this, so at that time I would entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion for the approval of
Second.
authorized payment for the 10 vacation days for Dr. Gruccio.
Can I have a roll call, please? Ms. Leary.
Ms. Acosta? Absolutely, yes. Ms. Cataspati?
Absolutely.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
No, just kidding. Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Samrana?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. English?
Absolutely, and it's definitely not enough because I know the time that was put in during this, and definitely well-deserved.
Thank you.
Okay, and our second item, as if we can't let Dr. Gruccio get away without a little intense discussion. Little confusion has come our way with the governor the last few days concerning schools that have air conditioning in classrooms, buildings that do, buildings that don't, etc. And spoke with my fellow board members concerning discussion and possible action on optional mask wearing moving forward for students and staff members. I wanted to put it into a public setting this way because Ms. Spinelli and I have spoke about this night after night, day after day, as well as with Dr. Gruccio. And this is one of those areas that, as board members, we know what we would like to see happen, but as Mr. DeSanto continues to educate us on, this falls under those words, day-to-day operation of the school district. So that becomes a superintendent's decision. We've been receiving emails from district employees, parents, and some students concerning what other districts are doing. And I've had some documentation sent to me that board presidents have, in conjunction with the superintendent, put a letter together to go to the governor requesting that he puts an option out there for the decision to not wear masks if, especially if you've been vaccinating. If you've been vaccinated, why should I have to wear a mask in class, etc. I don't want to take the floor with everything, but I'm just kind of giving you the ground rules on this, and I'll also let Dr. Gruccio, I know how she feels on it, but she also is answering to other people as well. The public perception is what they see is, are other districts doing? Why aren't we doing it? And I don't want to say that they're breaking the law, but they're not abiding by it. So if there's, let's just throw a fictitious number of 65 other school districts out there doing it, does Vineland want to become number 66? Personally, I wouldn't have a problem being number 66 because my feeling is it should be something that's optional for our staff members if they've been vaccinated, and it should be optional for our parents if they want their students to. That being said, it opens up some gray areas because you know there's going to be the fight the other way. I guess what I'm trying to accomplish this evening, I'd like to hear my thoughts from each board member, and it can be brief, you know, or it can be a no comment, but we know we have a new superintendent coming in on July 1, and I think it's very fair to him to know the feeling of the board. And also, Dr. Gruccio will share her feelings as well. But if I can, I'd like to start to my right with just Mr. Fiocchi, and just, thoughts and feelings, if you have some on that, because I need to know if truly the majority of the board, because last night my email had spoke with Ms. Spinelli, and we know our feeling, but we're 2 of 9.
Mr. English?
Yes.
I would suggest perhaps Dr. Gruccio explain what she is
Sure.
directing, and
Absolutely.
then the board members can comment on that.
Absolutely, thank you.
Okay, when I saw the governor's executive order, I immediately wrote up something based on what Washington Township had sent out. I talked to the other superintendents, and we all agreed we would do something similar. So we sent it out saying masks were optional. In the meantime, I received a call from the health department saying, please rescind that and clarify that what the governor is saying is that the order still stands and we should be wearing masks unless there is a condition with extreme heat that would cause a health issue for students or staff. I also received a memo from the county office that afternoon saying the same thing. So I rescinded what I first sent out, and I clarified in another memo that went out saying that as long as your classroom is air conditioned, you should be wearing a mask. If the air is not working properly, or if you are outside, students do not need to wear a mask. It pretty much comes down to common sense and a teacher or principal using their judgment. If, for example, a chiller is down in one of the buildings and it becomes very hot and humid within the building, then we would allow the students to remove their mask. But with a week left of school, we felt, after I got the call from the health department and received the follow-up memo, we felt it was better to be safe, and as long as it's comfortable in the classrooms, since that's what the students have been doing all along, for one more week, it wouldn't be worth taking a chance of somebody becoming sick. There were some issues in Millville and even one in Vineland with the prom where one child became sick, and that impacted 10 other students who may not be able to graduate. And I did not want to see a situation like that occur. If somebody is in a classroom, we do not know who is vaccinated. That was the big issue with the health department. We do not know which students have been, which teachers have been. And they felt strongly that as long as the air is on and it's comfortable, we should continue with what we have had in place for the safety of everyone. So that is what I put out. And that is my personal opinion, that at this time of the school year, we've done well so far. I would hate to see something happen the last week of school, and then that carry over to, to affect other people within that classroom. So that's where we left it as a district.
Thank you, Dr. Gruccio. And from that, you definitely had explained that all to me. Just, a couple questions that I have, and maybe they're questions for Paul. We know with the extreme 100% humidity, you can't maintain comfortable temperature. So that is an extreme gray area to use the word comfortable, because in my opinion, there's probably not one room that's comfortable when it's 100% humidity. So are we talking one classroom or are we talking several?
The words the governor uses is excessive heat. That's what's in his executive order.
I mean, the hope is we're using our common sense here, number one, but realistically, I would hope if someone says, listen, my room is not comfortable, I don't hope we don't have a song and dance between the teacher and whoever's making the call. I mean, I think we can handle this pretty much common sense wise the rest of the way out.
The VEA did write to me, and they felt everybody should be wearing a mask. So that was the other person that contacted me.
What I'm going to do at this time, we're just going to open up, because I do still have some questions, but I would like to hear from Mr. Fiocchi, and then I'll work my way.
No comment at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Holmes?
No comment.
Ms. Costa?
My comment is basically that I think, at least for the time being, through the remainder of the school year, and even through the summer programming, masks should be worn. The CDC is very, very clear with respect to students in K to 12 that mandatory masks are necessary. And that is because, I mean, first of all, I mean, I don't believe that there are probably very few, if any, children at all in the entire district that are fully vaccinated. I mean, vaccinations for children, the kids between 12 and 15 became effective, I believe it was May 12th. And that means that 4 weeks later, when they get their second vaccine, we're talking about, you know, the end of the school year, and perhaps, and we don't know how many kids have actually received the vaccine in that age group, and then the rest of the kids are not vaccinated. And so we don't know how many teachers or staff members are vaccinated or are not vaccinated, so potentially there could be an outbreak. I mean, it's very possible when you have, you know, a few thousand students, you know, at the high school, for example, and we don't have any way of really knowing who is vaccinated, who is not vaccinated. And to avoid those issues, I believe that they should be wearing a mask. I think that we can revisit come September. I think that there will be further guidance by the New Jersey Health Department and our local health department, as well as the CDC. And then with respect to school buses falls under transportation, and I believe that there's federal mandate that they must wear a mask. So not only would we be violating local or state mandate, but also a federal mandate. So I believe that we should hold off until we receive further guidance. And I believe that it will come prior to September, but I think we're premature in making that decision now.
Mr. Hall did reach out to the drivers and told them, please make sure there are windows open on the bus, because some of our buses are full and they can't socially distance. So he did reach out to the drivers, and they'll make sure windows are open.
Who is liable, Dr. Gruccio, if someone passes out on the bus?
Mr. Lawyer, can you help with that?
The district will always be held accountable for any accident or any incident. The district will always be viewed as accountable for any accident or incident that occurs on property or facilities of the district. If we can't be responsible for acts of God such as weather. However, you know, we have to be reasonable in terms of making it more accommodating for people. If they're in the bus, you crack the windows, whatever it is. Once you do that, you're not going to be absolutely strictly held accountable. You follow me? You're only held accountable for basically gross negligence. You know, forcing a kid to stay in a stuffed room is one example. So, again, common sense plays into that also.
Yeah, I'm just trying to rationalize the governor's common sense or lack thereof, because you can be in a non-air conditioned bus with a mask, but you don't have to wear a mask in a room that doesn't have air conditioning, but it has windows you can open like on a bus. But I'm just,
I think it's a social distancing factor.
Yeah, it's the comfort of the kid. I believe that's what it's about.
I just find it lame. Ms. Cospati, help me out here. What do you got going on?
Well, I've had some discussion with Mr. English, Ms. Spinelli, numerous discussions about this. I've had discussions with some of the other board members from other districts, teachers, parents. My phone's been bombarded with yes, no. However, I believe that it should be optional and their choice. as to whether to wear the mask or not. That's all.
Thank you.
So first off, I think that you should survey the parents and see what they think is comfortable, because data always helps us make decisions. And then also survey the staff and see where the numbers lie, if they feel comfortable or not comfortable to wear a mask. You know, this is just my personal opinion. I think that it should be optional at this point. A lot of people have made the decision either to get the vaccine or to not get the vaccine. You know, the vaccine numbers are decreasing. I think a lot of people have gotten it that were going to get it, and that's just my personal opinion that it should be optional.
Thank you, Ms. Spinelli. Mr. Silva.
I believe that we should follow what the CDC has out for us. We have like 6 days of school left. If it's that much of a concern that it's extremely hot in the classroom, we've been doing virtually, so we could put the kids out virtually in Bridgeton. We did put the kids out virtually when it was extremely hot, so there's only 6 days of school left. So to start that fight now and not follow the CDC guidelines, I think that would be negligent on our part. It's not the people that are not vaccinated you have to worry about, it's the vaccinated ones that will give it to the non-vaccinated ones. So I think that we should wear a mask, and if it's that hot, that we should stay home.
Thank you, Mr. Silva. Mr. Sabrana.
You know, from the very beginning, this has been one of those issues that you have the health and safety part of it, and then you have the political side of things. And masks are unbelievably political. And the people who believe in each way are very passionate about it, unfortunately. People believe that you should wear a mask if you want to and not, and other people are saying follow the science. And then there's the gray area in between, like, well, if it's really hot, what are you supposed to do? Is wearing a mask going to be a health issue? You know, damned if you do and damned if you don't doesn't even begin to cover this. So I think we have to make a reasonable decision based on the circumstances that exist at this time. And as you've said, if it's very, very hot, and that's going to be a health issue, we don't want people passing out and falling and hurting themselves because they had a mask on. That's counterintuitive. Hopefully, I keep saying this, that it'll be over soon. But for right now, you know, we have to follow the rules that we have to follow.
Thank you, Mr. Sabrana. And Mr. Rivera.
Unfortunately, our governor has sent out a lot of mixed messages. You know, you can wear a mask here, but you can't wear it there. You can be this far apart here, but not here. So, and I know what everyone's saying in regards to there's only 6 days left. But if we don't decide this now, when will we decide this? And like, for example, what's comfortable for one person may be uncomfortable for the other. I can attest to this. Just this week, I visited a couple of schools, and the air conditioning was working. I'm not going to mention the schools. Supposedly in all the schools. But you can feel the difference in some of the schools compared to others when it comes to the air conditioning. So I am in agreement that with those that say that this should be optional. It being 6 days away, I know it's probably going to be an issue that arises, but we need to make the decision. So in my opinion, it should be optional.
Thank you. And for the record, I did let the health department know that my board members will not be wearing masks unless they choose to at graduation, an outdoor event. So if you feel you need to wear it, go for it. If you feel comfortable not wearing it, that's fine.
The students will be wearing them at graduation. The principal met with them today, and they're all told, they have masks for them, and they were all told that they will be wearing them because we do not know who is and is not vaccinated. And there was an issue that already happened last week. They don't want that to happen again, so our students will be wearing masks. What about the
What about their parents then? If indeed they were in contact, then will the parents be wearing them? And I mean, this becomes one of them situations now. Yes, we want to have graduation, but if you're going to open the box will be opened. And if the student possibly might have it that is wearing a mask for the safety precaution and has been having dinner with the parent that's sitting in the stands next to the other parent, are we actually doing 6 foot in the stands? What are our plans for
I
that?
believe, Paul, everything is 3 feet apart, correct, in the stands and on the field?
So 3 foot means mask, correct? If you're outside, or I'm not sure anymore. I really don't know, to be honest with you.
It does change constantly, it's confusing. I just know what the principal told the senior class. I don't know beyond that. I'm just sharing what she shared with me.
I want to finish up on this, but I would like a clarification on exactly, I don't want to start turning people away the night of graduation because they don't have a mask or something like that. So I think that needs to be decided rather quickly on what is actually happening, and take it and just let us know and the public know as soon as possible. A couple questions I have concerning, and thanks to each one of my board members that spoke. Is it a violation to ask for proof that our staff has been vaccinated? No?
I think you can ask them. Voluntary, yeah. Right.
What I'm trying, the reason I'm asking is, I think Mr. Rivera hit the nail on the head and kind of stole my thunder. If we don't make a decision now, well, I'm glad we're discussing it because I want it to be discussed. But it is day-to-day operation. So I know, again, Dr. Gruccio is finishing up June. Mr. Llanos starting July 1. I think this is on the board's front page to have a decision. I'm not thinking September. I'm thinking the hot months of July with our summer program, because kids will be on buses and kids will be, granted it's 8 o'clock in the morning, but come 1 o'clock it is the hottest part of the day usually. And we've been part of those 95 to 100 degree days in July. So I guess, Dr. Gruccio, the question I have for you is, you have a team that discusses this? Does this fall under this COVID I'm not sure where it falls.
I usually discuss it with the other county superintendents and the health department. And based on what I received from the county and the health department, we made the decision that students should wear masks. They have been wearing masks. And if there's an issue of excessive heat in the classroom, then they could remove them. But they're, we told them they should be wearing them. Outside, they do not have to wear them.
All right, and then probably with the board's permission here, but what I've watched other districts do in conjunction with the superintendent and the board president, they have combined a letter that went to the governor. That's what other districts have done, and a lot of the districts that have chosen to go optional, I saw they were part of some of these letters. I think that's a good start. I'd like to have a letter out there from myself and Dr. Gruccio, and on July 1, I would like, if Mr. Llanos is on board with this, a letter from him as well. It's ultimately the superintendent's decision because it's day to day, but I don't want to talk about this on August 31st. That's it. Staff members have been vaccinated, and if the students, we could break it down, students wearing them, and staff members, if you can show me that you have been vaccinated, by all means, it should be your option, in my opinion. So I think I have my feedback now. I think, Dr. Gruccio, if you agree with me, if you want to put the pencil to the paper and if you agree with me, just some type of letter that we would like to make this optional, if you agree with that.
Well, I'll explain why I don't agree with that at this particular time. Everything keeps, we get these things from the CDC and the governor. None of them say, do this, don't do that. They're all vague and left to interpretation, which creates a problem for the school districts. There was a situation in Millville with 4 students. It affected many other students. There was one situation at our prom that now has affected at least 10 students, maybe more. They're still doing contact tracing. And when that happens, you're putting other students in a situation where a kid who did nothing now may not be able to walk after 13 years of school because of somebody, who should have not gone to the prom because they didn't feel well. Do you understand what I'm saying? So to me, I feel that it's better to err on the side of safety than, none of our kids have been wearing these masks all year. None of them are unbearable. And I think, again, it comes down to common sense. If a principal or a teacher sees that the air isn't working in a room, or there's a situation where the kids are going to get sick, then I understand. But we're saying they don't need them outside. We're saying they should wear them inside because our rooms are air conditioned. And if the air should go down in a building, that's a completely different circumstance. But the more cautious we can be, to me, we're talking about the safety of a lot of our kids. And one mistake can lead to many people being impacted. And I just hate to see that happen within the last week of school. I mean, we can write a letter regarding summer school. I can talk to the other superintendents in the county, getting their feelings on their summer programs. But I personally feel that we should err on the side of caution for the last week of school. Nobody seems to have had a problem with it, and I just think we're better off being safe than taking a chance. That's just my personal opinion.
And I do agree with you as well on that. I guess my question is, and this is a question that we probably all have, we tried to do the prom as safe as we could, and look what happened. So let's just pick a school. If I pick Dan Barcy tomorrow, okay? It's like an oxymoron. We want to be as safe as we can, but that school's so hot, there's a chance that something negative could happen.
But that's one school versus 16. It still narrows it down. You know what I'm saying?
I get it, but whether it's 1, 10, or 100, it's just, I don't understand it. And that's just something that I guess we will continue to work on.
And I will talk to Mrs. DeMarchi again tomorrow. She told me today that she had this meeting and she wants the students to wear a mask. I can talk to her. I mean, they are outside. I have no problem with that being optional. They're outdoors. They're socially distanced. So I don't have an issue with that, and I can certainly check with her again tomorrow.
What about the people coming to the graduation?
I don't know what she has said to parents. I don't know if any directive went out, but I don't know that we can make them mask, not to my knowledge.
And again, and I think that's the right thing to do, but this is what starts to confuse everybody. We use that word optional, but then it's not a safe environment now.
So why are the kids required to wear masks?
I'm going to talk to her tomorrow. That was her decision, and maybe she'll change it and make it optional. We'll have a conversation tomorrow. I think the prom situation made her very nervous. It impacted a lot of people very suddenly, and it should have never happened. It was one child who didn't feel well, and instead of staying home, didn't say anything and came to the prom, and it created an issue.
And I think for some of the board members, you might have heard that for the first time about the prom. So it saddens me that that had to happen, but it will happen. Whether you're at Luna's, or if you're at somewhere else, you stand that chance. Everywhere I've been, I haven't seen a mask. So, we're sitting up here 2 inches apart from each other. Some have been vaccinated, some have not. But because this is, what kind of event is this, Bob? It's a public venue indoors.
Of a governing body.
It's such a gray area, but I will agree with Dr. Gruccio on the safety thing, but I believe that this discussion will probably continue, and we will see where we're at, and again, talk with the others, because nothing is worse than when Millville and Bridgeton decide to do something different. And again, I always say, we're the lead dog. We should be the leaders. And, it just didn't work that way. And I looked at Washington Township's numbers that mimic ours, and they're optional. It just drives me crazy. But all right, listen, thank you for your time on that. Good discussion. And thank you, Dr. Gruccio. At this time, item number 11. Do I have a motion for the approval of bills incurred during April 2021?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please. Ms. Leary.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Mrs. Kataspati?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Mr. English?
Yes. Do we have any old or new business that anyone would like to discuss? I think we pretty much covered it all. At this time, start to my right with Mr. Fiocchi with board member remarks.
Thank you. Dr. Gruccio, as you know, I'm a man of few words, so this will be quick. But please don't let that be a reflection of what I think of you. You've been a huge part of my life for many, many years. I can't thank you enough for your support inside and outside this building. Your dedication to Vineland Public Schools is unmatched, and you're truly a selfless person. You will be missed. Enjoy this time with your family. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fiocchi. Mr. Holmes.
Yes. I know it's cliche to say that Mr. Yano has big shoes to fill, but no one wears a heel like Dr. Gruccio. All kidding aside, I'm happy for Dr. Gruccio, who will enjoy a long, productive, and well-earned retirement, but I'm sad to see her go. When I first ran for the board, Dr. Gruccio was most supportive when all others said I was too young, too naive, too ignorant. She stayed motivating me, and she kept upbeat. Above all, Dr. Gruccio was there for me when my father passed after a long battle with cancer. Perhaps she knew too well the devastation that cancer would wreak on a family, or perhaps she just knew I needed to see a friendly face. But whatever the reason, Dr. Gruccio was there for me and my family, and I can't express the words, the gratitude that I have for you and your compassion and kindness. Dr. Gruccio, I just want to wish you a great retirement. Thank you for your service, for your friendship, and for your loyalty to our school district. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Ms. Acosta.
Dr. Gruccio, I think I've said this before. If ever there was someone that I really look up to, that person is you. You truly exemplify what it means to be a caring, loving, kind, intelligent, wonderful leader. You have been an inspiration to me. I can't even begin to thank you for the many, 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 many lives you have touched over so many years. You will always be in my heart. I hope that I will see you again, because I will miss you dearly. I can honestly say I have never, ever encountered you where you didn't have a smile, where you didn't have words of encouragement, where you immediately, if I came to you with a problem,
immediately began to problem solve. I thank you for that. I thank you for being a mentor to so many people. Truly, I know that this is, in many ways, difficult for you. We've spoken about how difficult it might be that first day when you're home. However, I really hope, because you truly, truly deserve now in this new phase in your life to have just a wonderful time, relaxing, enjoying your family, and just know that you will always be in my prayers and my thoughts, and know that I will always be here for you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Acosta. Ms. Kaleidoscope.
Before I get to Dr. Gruccio, I'd like to congratulate and thank everyone that was recognized tonight, and to congratulate Mrs. Palladino and to thank her for her 50 years of service to our district. Also, to our 2021 graduates, I know this past year and a half hasn't been normal, but you hung in there and persevered. Reach for the stars, because only you can make your future bright. Congratulations and best wishes. Dr. Gruccio, I don't even know where to begin, especially after hearing my fellow board members, everything that happened last week. I have had the opportunity and honor to sit on the board for 5 of your 46 years in the district of service, and although we may not have always seen eye to eye, but you've listened, you've explained your points, and you genuinely care about the students and staff of our district. A simple thank you doesn't seem like it's enough, but thank you. Thank you for all of your years of dedicated and selfless service to the Vineland Public Schools. You will be missed dearly. However, it's your time to relax and enjoy life. Have fun with those grandbabies. I know I'm going to miss showing up pictures, sharing our stories, but we have text messaging for that, so we can still do that. You deserve this. So thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Ms. Kaleidoscope. Mr. Rivera.
Caught me off guard. Dr. Gruccio, I'm a little jealous because I hear all these stories that everyone has, all the impact you've done in their lives, and I've only had the privilege of working with you for 5 months. But seeing how you were treated last week, seeing all the dedications throughout the few weeks at all the schools, there's no denying that you are a very special person. From the moment that I arrived on the board, you were very welcoming. You had an open door policy. You wanted to help out in any way you could. And I doubt that began 5 months ago. I doubt that you just started being that person. So 46 years, it's a long time. I'm sure somewhere down the line you've impacted my life being a product of this school system. I wish you nothing but the best. I wish you a healthy, happy retirement. Te deseo un retiro lleno de salud y de alegría. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Mr. Sobrana.
What they all said. Mary, I can only imagine how you must feel leaving after a career of 46 years, and a long and celebrated career as we saw last week. We were talking before. I can tell you that I will believe that after a while, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, you're going to say to yourself, gosh, how did I ever find the time to work? Because your days will fill with, many, many wonderful activities, spending time with your family, your friends, doing volunteer work. I can't imagine you not being an integral part of this community as you've been your entire life and your career. And I know that I'm grateful for the fact that even when we disagreed on issues, that our conversations were always cordial, and there was no essence of mean spirit about them, and that's a very important thing. However the future unfolds for you, unfolds. I do wish you good health and great happiness. Like you always say, God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Sobrana. Mr. Silva.
Yes, Dr. Gruccio, let me start by saying that it has been a pleasure serving with you as part of the Vineland School District Board of Education. Your mission and the many extraordinary programs that you have brought to this district have captured the vision for this district. Under your leadership, the district has made great strides in moving towards closing the achievement gap amongst our students. Thank you, Dr. Gruccio, for your 46 years of service. It really takes a special person to devote that much time to a successful career. Please know that you will be missed, and I hope your retirement is filled with love, laughter, health, and joy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Silva. Ms. Spinelli.
So I know it's an emotional time for everyone.
Here's some tissues. Here. COVID.
Says a lot.
I'm gonna miss you. And oh my God, I can't. You're retiring and I'm crying. I really gained such a good person running for the board. Mary is now my friend. Her family is so close to me now. And I'm gonna miss seeing you and working with you. There was a lot of times that I felt like the board wasn't for me. And she always picked me up and said, you can do this, you know, don't let these little things get to you. And she came to my wedding, and like we're lifelong friends now, and I wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet her if I didn't run for the board. And I love you, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Spinelli. I'm going to break my rules a little bit here, Mary, because I truly believe this being your last meeting, we should close our meeting with you speaking, so I will take some time to speak this evening. First and foremost, I want to just give a couple shout-outs tonight. You've always heard me say that the arts, fine arts and performing arts here in the Vineland Public School District, I will put them against any program on the East Coast and maybe in the United States. That's how excellent we are. We saw something tonight. It all starts with a strong feeding system. Miss Kell, Miss Andrews, Miss Carberry, the arts, acknowledgement. You'll be faced with some tough times in the future with things that need to be cut. I'm looking at Miss Leary now because we will fight as a board, and if I'm in the community, we will fight to keep those arts alive, because it's too late to start at the high school level. It's the feeder system that makes that high school what it is. So when I see them tonight get honored, I see in a pandemic, we still found a way to put an elementary production together. That's what it's all about. That's great teaching, and that's things that you, as board members, you know, it's more a teacher working more than the 7 to 10 hour day. It's morning, noon, and night. To see that tonight, just excellent. I also wanted to give a shout out to Dave Orandini for the great work not only him, but his department is doing at VHS. That was great acknowledgement tonight, and sorry he couldn't be here to tell him, but please extend that to him and the department as well. Again, that is truly great stuff. And Dr. Gruccio, I tell the story 10 times, 100 times. We literally it's either husband and wife like or big sister, little brother like. And it's such a mutual respect, because we go off the vibe of the public. I rely on what you tell me, you rely on what I tell you, and we were and we are a great team. I've got plans for you after this, trust me. I will be letting the public know that down the road. But it all started with the teaching lesson. Curriculum, that's where you were. And we had Dr. Banks here, and Dr. Banks, good woman, good superintendent, but very black and white by the book. That wasn't really good enough for me because I wanted to know more. I wanted to learn more. I wanted to know what all 7,000 acronyms were. So I said, I got to find somebody I got to find somebody in this district that's going to open their heart a little bit to me. And not saying that Dr. Banks didn't, but I stumbled across your office, and as I said last week, it's one thing to say open door policy, but it's another thing to truly mean it and practice it. You are a genuine, awesome, great person that cares so much more than the job description of superintendent. My board members heard me say it, you've heard me say it, I challenge anybody. I love the Monday morning quarterbacks that say what they would have done. And if I was superintendent, here's what I would have done. I've said it many times, I learned it tonight, not walk in those shoes, walk in those heels that you walk in. Let me tell you, I don't want to give up too much because I know I'm going to be speaking at other things in the future with you, but I was almost speechless tonight because I hear my fellow board members speak about the person, Dr. Gruccio. When I listened to Nick and Cedric, they went combined 2 minutes. That's awesome, dude. I mean, that's the type of person, how special you are. There was nothing this evening, man, and that just, it's things like that. This board cares and loves you today, they loved you yesterday, and they will love you tomorrow. We aren't perfect up here, and we know that you're not perfect there, you've always said it, but it was always what is best and fair for our students, our staff members, and taxpayers. We banged heads, as Rossini can attest to, but even when I walked out angry, it wasn't personal. It was, I know tomorrow we're going to get together and we're going to figure it out. It's the passion that you had for perfection that I think continued to make me have that passion for perfection. How we got to that solving of the problem was an adventure, but at the end, it was a mutual respect on how we decided to do that. It will be hard without you because I like to treat you as, yes, you're the superintendent of the Vineland Public School District, but you were so much more. It's the mother-like instincts that men won't have, but I can only, if I was in that position, you were also the mother of the Vineland Public School District to so many people, and that's something that you just don't, it's not given to you, it's earned. I wish you the best in your retirement, but like I said, I got plans, so you're not going to fully retire. I couldn't have had a better person to work with in my years here, and again, as president, we've done great things, and it's crazy because it doesn't matter all you do that's great. Everybody hones in on that one thing you didn't do. But I got to tell you, anything that this woman did, it was done because it's what she believed was best. And no one can take that away from them. They can judge and do whatever they want. But she was always able to put her head on the pillow at night because that's the type of person she is and was and continue to be. With that being said, I have a little presentation before I let you speak. So, you have this lovely portrait of you. This will be displayed in the hallowed halls of the Landis Administrative Office. Where's that camera? Administration building. It's face, and I think I still might have discussions with it. And you might give me tell me the old Stromboli, you know, but that's pretty much how I think it should sum up your retirement. If you are going out on top, you will be hung up top where it will be. I'm sure Rossini has some plans for this. I would like to maybe have some type of a ceremony for when this is come with Dr. Green. Should we come for that? We'll take the coffee. I know you can handle that. Absolutely. So this is so much more than just a photo. And your appreciation, I mean, I could talk forever, but enough is enough for me because this is your night. I just, again, from the bottom of my heart, I do want to thank you for all that you have accomplished. And it's proof is in the pudding by the way you were out of the scene by my board members. So thank you. God bless you.
Thank you all very much for your comments. It means a lot, and I appreciate it. You know, my husband was a board member, and he was president of the board many years ago. He's been gone for 31 years now. But one thing I know is that when you sit in these seats, it's not always easy. You get elected, and you sit up here, and people agree with you and disagree with you, and on and on and on. And he always said the happiest times were when he was at things at the school, when we were recognizing kids. And I know that you sit up here and you get no money. It's because you want to give back to your community and you care about the students. And so we may disagree many times, but I thank you for your dedication. I thank you for taking the leap and running for an election and to sit up here on this board, because I know it's not easy, but I'm appreciative of each and every one of you and what you do. And whether we agree or disagree, I have respect for each of you, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. This was a really hard decision for me. I know some people think, okay, you better get out now. It's been long enough, and I am. But it was not easy because this has been my life since I was a little kid. I played school all the time. I wanted to be a teacher, and all I know is education, and this is what I've done forever. And since I was 5 years old, every September I walked into a school building. So this September, I don't know what I'm going to do. They tell me I can't come back for 180 days. So, but anyhow, but I know. But I'm not going to know how to react, you know. But it's just something that you love. You know, as long as you have a career that you love and it brings you joy, whether it's good times or bad times, that's what it's all about, loving what you do. And I truly love what I do and what I've done. And you know what, God's blessed me twice. I've survived cancer. I have 2 healthy children. You know, I have a beautiful family who always supports me, and that's more than some people have. And so I just thank God every day, but I know in my heart that it was time. It's time for new ideas, younger people. Let them bring their things to the table and move this district forward. All I hope and pray is that in some small way I made a difference in my time in Vineland, whether it was as a teacher or whether it was as an assistant superintendent or a principal or in this position. I just hope somehow along the way I helped some child, some adult, some family, and some teacher. I mean, that's all I can hope for. And if I've done that, then my career has been fulfilled. And I will always be grateful for all of you and the wonderful things that they've been doing to say goodbye as I prepare to leave. And I have no regrets. I've loved every minute of it, good times and bad. And I just thank all of you from the bottom of my heart, because I'm going to miss this more than I can put into words. Thank you all. God bless you all.
At this time, I want to just thank my board members once again. I ask that we have a motion for adjournment, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, and good evening.